everyone, welcome back to G&J Exploring. In today's video we're going to be looking around Monteverde, where we arrived at the end of our last video. So we spend our first day in the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve and have a walk around its viewpoints and hills. We then go back to the hotel and walk around its grounds, which is its own small portion of rainforest. And we find a ficus tree we're able to do some climbing in. The following day we head to the Bosque Nuboso Reserve, which is similar to the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve, but a bit higher up into the hills and a little bit less touristy, and we'd spent another very happy morning wandering around its various trails. In the afternoon we headed to Santa Elena, which is the town local to Monteverde, and walked around its town centre, and went and looked at its Ficus Bridge, which is grown nearby over a river. We hope you enjoy this video, and now on with the show.
It's a new day and we have parked up at the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve, and you pay a little bit of money to park here, but then you need to get a bus, which we have here, and it costs about $5, and that takes you a couple of kilometres up the road to the park. So we're gonna get on now and we should be there in a few minutes time. So we are now here in the reserve, just in the map there, and there's loads of different trails. It's quite a nice laid out sort of area. You can sort of see it through there. It's sort of got a bit of a plaza, and now we'll just be walking along the path and seeing what we find. We have just been walking through the forest here and we have seen a coyote. You might remember we saw some of the feral ones near the dam a couple of days ago, but now we have seen one in the wild. Now we're walking through secondary forest now, and there's two types of forest. There's primary forest, which is sort of original, and the secondary forest, which has been replanted. We are further along the path going towards another viewpoint, and it's very windy, but we do in fact have a bit of a view out into the distance. So here we are at the viewpoint, and there is actually a view, which is amazing. Very interesting seeing the cloud swirl around, and the sun has in fact come out a little bit. And here we have the view on the other side. We are here on a bridge. So this is the sky bridge they have in the park, and it's a bit bouncy, which is a little bit disturbing, but it's very pleasant. We're now going to meet another group of tourists down the way, but if I spin to the side you can see the view up the valley, and spinning back round you can see the view down the valley. And here we are at one of the waterfalls here in the reserve, having a nice look at the water. So we are now at the end. We've walked down the Sendero Nuboso to the viewpoint at the end, swung back to the bridge, and then walked down here and up to the waterfall, and then back to the front. And while it looks a long way, it's taken us about 2 hours and there's a lot of stopping. So all in all, very recommended. We have now found a hummingbird cafe, and as you can see, there are a lot of hummingbirds.
Yeah, they do. They're the bigger ones.
And we've just got tons of hummingbirds flying past. They're like little bullets. But yeah, it's really cool seeing them all around. So we're just leaving the hotel and walking along their trail. We've just had a lot of excitement though. We just found a scorpion in the toilet, so we had to get the ladies who were doing the room cleaning to come sort that out, because it was surprisingly big and looked like one of those ones on the nature programs which kills you in 5 seconds if it gets you. So good spot by Juliet there, and we're now going to be heading into the slightly different looking rainforest and seeing what we find. So here we are, very much off the beaten track, on this small river here in the, well, wilderness really. And apart from some slight worries about all the big crawly insects around, it's pretty cool. And here we are at another very, very pretty bit of water. I believe this river comes out near the sunset area we were at before. And we've now got to walk up quite a big hill to get back to where we're staying. And here we have found some actually legitimate animals in the wild. They're some very pretty woodpeckers with red heads. Hopefully this will come out on camera, but they are there pecking away at the dead tree. And here we have two very pretty bluebirds sitting on a branch in the distance. Let's go a bit closer, they'll probably run away. But we'll see if we can see them a bit closer up. And there we go. We're getting close to the hotel now, and we've seen a hanging bridge here over the river. Very impressive, very high. Not sure Julie and I are brave enough to go and walk on it. It doesn't look too easy to go onto, but apparently there's another one in the local town we might be going to tomorrow. So there's the hanging bridge, but then also if we go up here, there is a very impressive tree. And in this tree you can also climb up it. Now we might be doing that in a little bit, but it's this huge tree here. And now spin up all the way to the top. And this is one of those, I think it's called a ficus tree, which grows around another tree in the middle. The other tree dies, and you end up with this hollow trunk. So we might be doing a few photos in here, and maybe even climbing up inside of it.
And here we are inside the ficus tree. Rather impressive. And we also have a George climbing up it.
Oh.
Any comments, George?
Very cool. But I don't think I'm going to make it to the top. There's a big bit of tree missing just up here. We are now in a tree, or I should say looking at a tree, and you might be able to see some things jumping around which are monkeys of some description. And there we go, there is one of the fellows having a walk down the branch. We're currently at a restaurant, and it apparently just has some monkeys chilling out at the place. And there we have the chap. We are back up at the nature reserve. We've had our entertainment of the monkeys at dinner, and now we're back up here to go on a night tour. So apparently we'll be seeing frogs and things like that, and it will start in about 5 minutes, and we'll see what we find. And here we have a snake.
Yeah, he wrapped around it the same.
It's a new day here in Costa Rica, and for the second day in a row we have a large insect in the shower. It was a scorpion yesterday, and today it is a spider of some description. We're now going to have to go find the man to come take this out of our room. We are here at the Santa Elena Reserve, which is about 15 minutes out of town, up a very challenging road, so it's much quieter than the last place we went to. And we're going to be having a wander around and seeing what we find. Next stop, the forest. We're in the park. As you can see, the cloud has rolled in, but we have actually found some nature already. There is a very, very large black bird having its lunch in front of us. You might be able to see it as it slowly destroys the branch it's standing on. We are up on the observation platform here, and we have a bit of a cloudy but a fairly decent view out into the distance. So if it was a clear day, which I don't think it is very often, you'd be able to see the Tenario volcano in this direction where we were a couple of days ago. And if I swing round, you've got the wonderful view out across the cloud tops.
and you've got the cloud which is literally blowing over the hillside. You can see it blowing up. So there's not much to see here right now, but if there's a break in the cloud we'll do another GoPro, and otherwise we might pop up here later on this afternoon when we come back after our walk. We are still walking through the forest. The sun has come out a little bit and the birds are singing. We've seen a couple of little things flying around, and it's a very pleasant walk just through the forest. This forest is a bit different to the last place. I think this is more of a cloud forest, as you saw earlier with all the clouds, and yeah, it's really pretty. We are even further along the path and we have found this bit of water near this rather rotten fence. All looks very Jurassic Park, and then we have a little waterfall here in the jungle. We've just left the park, but we had a very nice walk around today. So we've started here, walked up to the viewpoint where we've done a few videos at, walked down the path, down this path here, along the blue path, took the shortcut, back along the blue path, up to the viewpoint again, and then back to the visitor centre. And we're a bit naughty because we went the wrong way almost the entire time, but there's not too many people here, so it didn't really matter. We have now come off the mountain and we're at a Mexican restaurant called Taco Taco, which is supposed to be very good, and we're looking forward to having some lunch. And we also have this interesting view out across some of Santa Elena.
And here we are by another little stream. This one's a bit different because it also has this ficus which has turned into a bridge. And if you look up there, you can see George.
So I am now down from the tree, and as Juliet would have showed, it is a very impressive thing. Going up there wasn't too bad. It's very accessible, but it is a super impressive structure, especially when you get up close. And it's amazing how much like a bridge it's ended up. And there we go. There is the Ficus Bridge. And here we have Juliet walking out across the tree. I am now here in the centre of Santa Elena, and it's all kicking off with the traffic, but it's a very nice town. There's not too much going on, but as you saw, we went down to that tree across the river earlier. We had a nice lunch and we managed to get some postcards, and now we're just going to go and hunt down some dinner for later on today. We are back at the hotel and we've spotted a large ratty looking creature, which I think might be something called a capybara or something similar. And there it is, sitting around having a nice time. Not entirely sure what it is, but as normal, it's pretty cool to see nature in the flesh. We are back walking through the forest here in the hotel area, and we're back at the very large tree which I tried to climb up yesterday, and we've also just seen another one of those animals we saw in the last video. Now, I'd called it a capybara, but apparently it is a relation of a capybara called an agouti, much smaller, but it's cool to see another one out in the wild. And now I'm going to see if I'm a bit braver with my better choice of shoes to climb a bit higher in the tree.
So we are still at the tree, but if I pan up, look what we find near the top.
Hello, hello. It's a bit high up here and I'm a little bit scared. So, I am up in the tree. It's very high up. Juliet will have showed you the video from her perspective, and this is the one for me. I'm a little bit scared because it is very high up. And if Juliet comes in the tree, I could do a little shot of her down at the bottom. You coming in, Juliet? And there's Juliet, all the way down to the bottom of the tree. Now I best get down because my leg is starting to shake.